You're listening to a Weeby Geeks Network podcast.
The Dining at Disney podcast.
The Dining at Disney podcast.
Your ultimate source about the wonderful world of dining at the Disneyland and Walt Disney World resorts.
If you are what you eat, then I only want to eat the good stuff.
Kristen Hetzel-Go and Jay Bratton are your guides on this culinary adventure.
We'll prepare and serve with flair a culinary cabaret.
Join them as they discuss the latest food news, expert tips, recommendations, and trip planning advice related to Disney food and dining. From quick service to fine dining, you will discover all the best restaurants and food as they hungrily explore the Disney parks.
It brings folks together from all walks of life.
The Dining at Disney podcast. And now, your host, Kristen Hetzel-Go and Jay Bratton.
Welcome to another episode of the Dining at Disney podcast, your ultimate source for delicious discussion about food and restaurants at Disneyland and Disney World. I'm your host, Kristen, and joining me today is Aljon from Jedi Mouseketeer.
Hello.
How you doing today?
I'm good. Is there a little delay on your end?
A little bit. There was.
A little bit. Not too shabby. It happens. It's the internet. But I'm glad to be here to talk about food. We don't get enough discussion podcasting time on all the different shows that we have, apparently. So I have to come in and help you out on this show.
Well, today we're going to be discussing a taste of Bull and Bear, as well as the Royal Tea, which takes place at Peacock Alley. Both of these restaurants are located in Waldorf, Astoria, Orlando, which is within those gates of Disney, but not a Disney hotel. So
love them.
Discussing those.
Yes.
But before we get into that, we would like to thank you for downloading the show on iTunes, streaming it on Stitcher, or watching the webcast on YouTube. Be sure to like and subscribe and let your friends know about this podcast. If you want to help us, one way you can support us is by shopping our affiliate links. We have the Disney Store, Garden Grocers, Jelly Belly, or you can pick up one of the Dining at Disney ebooks. So
I suggest
let's get on.
Do it now. We can wait. You can just hit pause.
Let's get into discussing our meal for the day. We're going to be skipping the appetizer and the entree portion and just getting into the big dish because we've got a lot to talk about there. Yes.
There is. How much do I love the Waldorf Astoria Orlando? A lot. More than you know. Love that place. Absolutely love it. One of the best nights of sleep ever. And what a great meal did we have there. I mean, we had great meal, great service. It was awesome.
Their food is always fantastic whenever we've been there.
It's so good. I'm looking through my iPhone, looking at all the pictures that we took during that, and some on your Instagram as well. And it just makes me hungry. I'm so hungry right now. I haven't eaten yet. I'm starving.
Well, you can eat after this.
Okay. Bull and Bear.
Yes, Bull and Bear. Now, these two experiences we're talking about took place during their Food and Wine weekends, which it coincides with the Epcot International Food and Wine Festival. During that time, this is just on the weekend. So as far as like Bull and Bear, you can book that for Friday and Saturdays. And they have done this in the past. This isn't the first year. They've done this for a few years now. And Bull and Bear, you can eat there anytime. But as far as this tasting, that just takes place during the Food and Wine weekends. But we still think you need to go to this place. As far as what the restaurant is like, I would say it has that kind of fine, elegant, club type feel to it. Wouldn't you say?
It's definitely a formal dining restaurant, I would say.
Yeah.
And
it's got
when it comes down to it, it's really nice for couples, families with older children, and it's just a really nice, elegant experience. Of course, they do have, a lounge there that people can kind of be very casual, but not to say that you have to be so formal you have to wear a coat and tie. You don't have to do that there. But
no, this is not Victoria and Albert's kind of that kind of fine dining dress code. This is going to be business casual. So, like your collared shirts, things like that. You don't have to get all dressed up, but you're not going to go in there in a tank top and like some cutoff shorts. It's a little finer than that. It has that, like I said, it's got dark wood in the place. So it gives me that feel of like classic country club kind of place that you would go to,
Yeah. It's definitely on par with something like a Yachtsman Steak Club and Yates Steakhouse in terms of like, what kind of dress you should get in there, but definitely don't be there in a tank top and flip flops and hat and all that. But I do like it a lot.
Well, let's start off and tell them a little bit about what we got to try as far as the menu, and then we can kind of go into how everything was. What do you think?
Sure, go ahead. I'll follow. You lead.
Okay. So they start off with an amuse-bouche, which is a complimentary item that is prepared by the chef. It's just a taste. It's one little bite to kind of get you kicked off into the meal. So they brought that out, and then we had a potato cappuccino. That was our first course, and it was served with a Viennese wine. For the salad course, we had a Maine lobster salad served with Elk Cove Pinot Gris. We had for the fish course, there was Chilean sea bass, and that was served with the Sonoma Cooter Chardonnay. Then for what they call their pasture course is 8-ounce filet of beef, and that was served with 1,000 Stories Red Zinfandel. And then for dessert, we had what they called the big reveal. It was a lemon and berry pavlova, and it was served with Alver Solero, Pedro, and I'm not sure how to say the last name. So.
Very fancy.
But it was like a port style wine.
Right. I don't know if you have pictures. I know that obviously this is an audio podcast as well as a video show for your YouTube channel, but just to give you an idea of what that
the amuse-bouche.
The amuse-bouche
which was a cured sirloin.
It literally was served on a teaspoon, and it was very, very yummy there. And that way your viewers can take a look at it. It was just perfect. Just a little bit of that and a little bit of the wine. And the wine pairing with every course was just so good. So kudos to the chef on that. So how did you want to break this down by the end?
Let's go course by course. How's that sound?
Go for it. So we talked a little bit about that. It's always nice when you sit down to have a nice, very simple bite. And this gives you a preview of what's to come. How neat is that? And served on that slate, it's just a really nice presentation. Loved it. Very tasty morsel.
It's going to make me hungry doing this.
Sorry. Well, hey, you chose the time.
I know. It's always food. So it always makes you hungry. So the first course that we received was the potato cappuccino, which sounds very interesting. And it actually is. It's a really unique dish. It's not, you might be thinking, okay, well, this is going to be along the lines of like a potato soup, but it's all creamy. There's no like chunks of potato in it, and it's layered with creme fraiche on top and a little bit of mushroom salt. And they recommend taking one sip and then stirring the cappuccino together and then finishing it that way. And it's very, very rich, very
I could have
creamy.
eaten this all day.
This isn't good. Like, this is unlike any kind of creamy soup you've had. It's heavy, but it is so good.
I'm going through your Instagram. I didn't see you post a little Instagram of it, but it literally is served in a cappuccino cup.
It is on the website.
It is on the website? Okay.
Because
So
I already wrote the review for it.
okay,
So
it's not on your Instagram, so I'll have to look. But it was so rich, and the first thing I said to Kristen, because they served it and they put a little truffle on the top, and wow, all I can say is it's just the best soup you've ever had. It's so creamy, and the first thing I said to you, Kristen, was there's a lot of cream in this, not half and half. It's cream. It's rich.
oh yeah.
It's not frothy, but it does look like a little cappuccino, and the saltiness and the starchiness of the potato it was just absolutely perfect. So a great way to start. Gosh,
And the wine that it was paired with, I thought went really nice because it was light. And so I thought enhanced the richness of the soup. They complemented each other very well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that everything we had, like I said, from, like you said, from the wine and every course that was brought out literally brings out the best of each other. The food and the wine just was perfect pairing.
Well, and I guess one thing I should note is the style that the way this restaurant delivers its dishes is definitely fine dining. You have your head server, which they call the captain, and he goes over everything with you. And then there's a couple other, I guess the best way to put it would be like a server assistants that they make sure that you've got, your water is full, and when you're finished with the plates are removed. They're assisting more bread, those kinds of things that you may need. Yeah, it's a team effort.
Yeah, it's a team,
but
like head wait, assistants, all that.
And every course, as it is presented, they go through the process of it, the different flavors, things like that about the dishes, which is really nice, and about the wines as well. Like the wine that came with the Maine lobster salad that we enjoyed, it has its name Elk Cove because on the property they have 100 elks that live there, so it was named Elk Cove for the elks that are already, that reside there. I mean, little things like that, as well as a little bit about the wine itself, but it's pretty cool.
You talk about the lobster salad. There it is, right there on your Instagram. Oh, so yummy. So yummy. And that lobster is so good. Mm.
The Maine lobster salad had an herb emulsion, McGregor Farm Petites. That's the greens, mainly sorrel, which is related to the spinach family, and aioli. Often you may find that lobster is a little chewy. I'm not saying a lot chewy. A lot chewy, then it's way overcooked. But it's very rare that you have lobster that's cooked perfectly and just kind of like melts in your mouth. And it was so tender.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, once again, there is no dish that I could not have just sat and eaten all day. It was that good. And, they serve these little plates, and it's just absolutely amazing. So good.
And with this, I'm not really a big fan of Pinot Gris.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of my least favorite wines to drink. This one I really enjoyed because it had a little bit of the characteristics you would find in a Chardonnay.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was, it's a little bit oaky, but also crisp at the same time. So
right. And your head weight.
I really like that.
Yeah, your head weight did a great job of describing the wine. And I'm not a wine connoisseur like you are, but I do like a Pinot Gris, and that was very good. Perfect pairing once again.
On to our next dish, which was the encrusted Chilean sea bass. And this course on top, it was they actually take a Chilean sea bass and they bake it. And then on top, they put spinach with mushroom and tomato. and then it's baked again. On it is pureed, it's sorrel sauce, which is that like spinach, not as bitter as spinach. And then around that they pipe, I'm just drew blank, butternut squash.
I've got the picture on right there for people to see while the video is going. And talk about decadent. My goodness. This Chilean sea bass cooked perfectly to me. And I've never, ever had that crust on top with that the tomato and the panko on it. And it had that nice crunch, a nice savory taste and flavor to it. And of course, paired with the fish, the sea bass, and the rest of the sauces below. Wow, it just melted in your mouth. I just once again loved it so much. And one thing that I'm sure you're going to talk about is the fact that this is brand new to the menu.
It's not on the menu yet.
Mm-hmm.
What we found out is with the dishes, they must be ordered 100 times before they are permanently placed on the menu.
So this would be a
so
special
that way
that
they're making sure. So, this is, I guess they're making sure that it's consistent and everybody's enjoying it and that kind of stuff. So I think that's pretty cool. And I really hope they add it.
So everybody go ahead and order this because it's so good. Keep on ordering it.
And this was paired with the Chardonnay, and it had a little bit of oak to it, but also was a creamy type Chardonnay. So I really liked it, but I am a fan of Chardonnay. That's my favorite white wine. Mm-hmm. So I'm a little biased to the Chardonnay. So the next course was the pasture, which was the 8-ounce fillet of beef. And this was served with potatoes, sauteed seasonal mushrooms, and a roasted garlic clove. Now, the potatoes were pave style, which means they are cut up paper thin, and then they're put back together, baked, and then they're crisp and soft on the outside, soft on the inside. And it kind of allows the mild cheddar really to come through with that instead of being overpowering or anything like that. I liked it. And
that's the first time I've ever had anything cooked in that way.
Yeah.
And
the steak,
yummy.
Of course, perfectly cooked. And I am a picky. I'm a picky either hamburgers or steaks. Like if I'm eating beef, it needs to be cooked medium rare.
Mm-hmm.
If it is cooked medium well or well done, or I won't eat it. And this was absolutely perfect.
I love it. You know me, I'm a huge steak person. Love steak in every way, shape, form, or fashion. And so when this came out, wow. The steak, of course, was amazingly prepared, tasted great, but the garlic clove, extra yumminess, and paired with a little bit of that muffin brioche bread was just great. Which, by the way, I did a mistake. Okay, I love the brioche bread so much. I tried to stop at 2 little muffins. I ended up getting 3 because she said, "Are you sure you don't want another one?" And I said, "Well, sure, okay." That was my mistake because I had so much food to eat. But it was so great. Like I said, the potatoes had a very interesting texture because of the way it was prepared. And the mushrooms had the great earthiness. So a perfect dish, much like the fish. So I was very, very happy about it. Definitely.
Okay, Aljon. So since you are the steak eater, how did you feel about the steak?
Well, I am a fan of New York strip because I love the flavor, and a New York strip done really well is just mouth-watering. Absolutely love it. Filet's not so much. Filet for me is more of a texture thing. It does have some flavor. This actually had a lot of really good flavor. And of course, the steak was cooked to perfection. So out of the fillets that I've had in and around the Disney gates, this is at the top of my list. I did not have a fillet. I don't remember if I had a fillet at Victoria and Albert's. I don't believe I did. And Kristen, correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't know. I'd have to pull out the menu. I still haven't.
Yeah, I don't believe I've had that. But I did have at one point a fillet in the risotto at Le Cellier. I believe I had it at Narcosis.
Because that's what comes with the lobster.
Mm-hmm. I believe I may have even had it at the Flying Fish, but I've had at least 4 different ones, and it maybe I don't know if I had it at Yachtsman's because I know what I want there, and they always have what I want. So, which is the New York strip. So, but yes, for the fillets I have had, it's great, and I am a connoisseur of steaks, and this was very, very great. And once again, the potatoes very unique in its cooking, but I do love how every little sliver of the potato allowed for that cheese to set in there, and it was just a perfect, well-balanced potato. Great mushrooms, or earthy mushrooms. So everything about this entire dish in and of itself was amazing, much like the fish was. So every dish was its own self-contained experience, along with the wine pairing. Wonderful.
And then the wine is 1,000 Stories Red Zinfandel. And the cool thing about this is it is made in rinsed Four Roses bourbon barrels. Mm-hmm. So it adds a little bit of sweetness to the Zinfandel.
Nothing wrong with a little bourbon. I like it.
No.
I'll take it.
And then for dessert, we had a very unique, I thought this was a really unique, cool presentation.
I was not expecting it.
They bring out what is a chocolate dome with some mint water, and they slowly pour the hot mint water over the chocolate, which then reveals the inside that has the lemon and berry pavlova with Tahitian vanilla ice cream and meringue.
Okay.
It was yummy. Yes,
it was very yummy. However, instead of water, might I suggest hot cream instead?
Oh gosh. Yeah, because that's all you need. More richness on top of.
I need more richness on top. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I thought it was great. A nice reveal. Unfortunately, the lighting was very low, had a very nice atmosphere because I believe, Kristen, we were there for about 3.5 hours, if not longer, for this entire adventure, culinary adventure, as you would say. But the dessert was great, paired with that port. And let me see here. That particular one, as you said, was quite special. I don't remember if I took a picture of it. You may have Instagrammed it. I may have Instagrammed it as well. But wasn't that port wine actually mixed with a really old vintage? So there's a little bit of that old vintage in every little bottle?
I don't remember.
Okay. I'm going to try to remember here. Okay, so here
by that point, we were so full.
It is Alver Solera port wine. And it says that it has a wine vintage blend dating all the way back to 1927. So just to give you an idea, here is what it looks like. And this is from my Instagram account. So you can see on the label itself, it does say the vintage 1927. So they basically have a little bit of that in every single one. And you can see the nice candlelight dome that they brought, which is something that Kristen had introduced me to from her tours of Europe, which they have on our table, which were really, really, really nice.
We've got like 3 of them. Mm-hmm. Those were imported from, I don't remember if he said that those were imported from France, but I know that that those are, he did say they were imported from somewhere in Europe. The plates I know are from France.
Well,
they had those imported. But
and
those
for the
little
record,
domes you can find at the Christmas markets in Europe. I've seen them in Germany as well as Austria. Have not been to a French Christmas market, but they have those there, and there's so many of them. And I think he said there's over 300 different designs that have been put on those domes, which is, it's a lot. I mean,
well, they're very popular.
Really,
we have 3.
They're really cool.
We have 3 of the 300 then.
Well, we have one that has the Neuschwanstein Castle on it. So,
and while we're talking about France, once again, this is a great opportunity to say that our hearts go out to France and the France people for the recent attack. So, very cool stuff, though, in terms of food offerings there at the Waldorf and the Bull and Bear. My goodness. A meal I will never forget, for sure.
One thing to note is you can book this if you're looking to dine at Bull and Bear, of course, for dinner. You can book a reservation by either calling them. We do have the phone number on the website. It's 407-597-5413. Or you can reserve it via Open Table, which is nice and convenient because you can just use your phone and there you go. Use your phone without Open Table app, which screen. Yeah, see, this is what happens when you put a case that you really like the way it looks on your phone. Then, yeah, you drop it and you shatter the screen.
Same thing happened to me with my
it's been how many weeks now?
Oh, the same thing happened to me with my Bubble case. That's why I don't use it anymore. But once again, kudos to everyone there at Bull and Bear. Thank you, Waldorf Astoria, for having us. This is something we're definitely going to be talking about on the show that we do for Sorcerer Radio, WW Tiki Room. And
just not as in depth.
Not as in depth, but and we'll probably also talk about the resort as well, because we ended up loving the resort as always. This is my second time staying there at the Waldorf Astoria, and I love that place. I really do.
One thing I do want to note that's very, very cool about Bull and Bear are their menus. They are the first restaurant to have iPad menus. And you can click on, like, say you hit appetizers, and then you can touch the dish, and you'll be able to see a picture of it. In addition to it, below it lists wine pairings that they recommend with it, as well as the prices on there. So I think that's pretty awesome that you can see all of that. You have a visual of what you're going to be, enjoying. So I do like that about their menus.
Well, the thing is about the menu is it looks so traditional when they show it to you. And most high-end restaurants these days, you'll see a backlit type of situation where they'll have the backlight in there and you'll be able to see it in a dark restaurant. However, with the iPad, it's great. And when you just touch the name of it, the picture comes up. And that's what's great, because you have those really nice high resolution iPads, and the pictures they take are phenomenal. And the pictures are just as good. In other words, when you order, typically when you order something from a menu, sometimes it resembles what you order and sometimes it doesn't. But this is incredibly well done. The plating, the consistency, the size, everything about the dish that you see is very much the dish that you will get. And that is very, very impressive. And once again, great technology put to good use there at Bull and Bear.
Well, I highly recommend checking out Bull and Bear. And if you're headed to Walt Disney World next year during the Epcot Food and Wine Festival, I recommend, if you're going to be there on the weekend, to make a reservation. And I'm guessing they're going to be doing this again next year, because it does go over so well for their resort, to book that, because it's a really fun, delicious, educational It's just a nice way to spend an evening. Make your reservation for 6 or 7 o'clock. And, if you have kids with you, they have kids programs there. Put the kids in the kids program and have a nice adult dinner out. So
I agree. And you know what? You don't have to be a culinary expedition person and be so adventurous. There is food that's very accessible to everyone. So if your seafood is not your deal, obviously you can be very steak heavy. If you're a vegetarian, obviously they can cater to you. And even gluten-free to a degree. I believe they even have gluten-free stuff on the menu, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah, they did.
Whatever the case is, no matter the dietary concerns, you can have a really elegant meal and they will cater to you. That's what they do, and they do it very well. So I have the highest recommendation for this restaurant. So if you feel froggy, you want to feel adventurous and go on a culinary adventure, they will cater to you. But if you just if you love meat and potatoes, but you love meat potatoes elevated to the next level, this place will definitely cater to you as well.
If you would like to check out the photos or anything else like that, all you have to do is visit diningatdisney.com, and the review is on there. You'll be able to find the link located underneath along the side. We've got that little banner that says Food and Wine Weekends at Waldorf Astoria, Orlando. If you click on that, you'll find the link to these the reviews for today, Bull and Bear, and then as we're about to get into, the Royal Tea at Peacock Alley. So you can find all that there. Okay, on to the Royal Tea. Now, this takes place on Sundays. It's not just during their Food and Wine Weekends. This you can actually enjoy at other times throughout the year. And it takes place on Sundays from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. in Peacock Alley. And they section off a portion of the lounge. They put some beautiful, nice, white, crisp linens on the table, as well as your dinnerware for enjoying the this little elegant afternoon experience. And you start off with them presenting you with your tea selection. And they have a variety. They've got Earl Grey. There is a citrus mint. I'm trying to think what some of the other ones were. Trying to think which ones we did. If I show you
the picture, will you remember them?
Trying to read them is where
they have
I'm
a lot
having
of
some
tea,
issues.
for sure.
English breakfast is another one. A ginger peach.
Here's what the
table
setup looks like. If you can see, we're able to get a little bit of. We have a little bit of some champagne in there as well.
Oh, white ginger pear. That's what you and I had.
Yes, very tasty.
Jasmine green tea. That was the other one.
I said to my friends during your birthday party, which, by the way, happy birthday. I said, I enjoyed tea. I enjoyed tea time. And our friends looked at me like, you went to tea time? What is wrong with you? And I said, nope. I love tea time at Waldorf Astoria, and I would go there again and again. That's how much I loved it. You think that, tea service, okay, great. I can have these teas anytime in my room, but the experience was great. So the variety of tea was great. Our service was great. And moving on to something that I love was the sandwiches. You want to talk about that next?
Yes. But I do want to say that everything is brought to you at a very relaxed pace. There's no hurrying you out of there. They bring in your tea, you can sit there and enjoy it, or they can go ahead and bring you your tea sandwiches. When they're done with those, they also want some more tea. You can choose a different kind, relax a little bit before they bring in the sweets for you. So it's not a hurried, it's a very relaxing European style tea service. And onto the sandwiches. They bring you 5 different sandwiches, and the ones that we were able to try, there was the cucumber, and it had shaved cucumber and pear with dill cream cheese. There's a roasted turkey with dried cranberry cream cheese on carrot cake. A Black Forest ham, which was one of my favorites, with whole grain mustard cream cheese, peppers, and arugula. Classic egg salad with an herb mayonnaise and watercress. And smoked salmon with shallots, creme fraiche, and capers. For those of you that can actually see the pictures from it, you'll notice that there's 2 of every one. So that way everyone has their own little tea sandwich, and it's not somebody going, but I really wanted that one, or any of that kind of stuff. Everybody gets one of each. So it's a nice, and they're about 2-3 bites, depending on how big of a bite you take.
Or 1 bite for me. Look, I'm just being honest here. Of course, I ate them in 2 bites, but there wasn't a sandwich on here I didn't like.
Now, which one would you say was your favorite?
Believe it or not, I love the egg salad. I'm a big fan of the egg salad. Was great, followed by the Black
It was very creamy.
Mm-hmm. It was whipped up really well, and followed by the Black Forest ham. I did like that as well, but
not the smoked salmon.
The smoked salmon was great. Like I said, there isn't a sandwich there I didn't like. But if I had to choose, I'd put the egg salad and then the ham and the salmon. The salmon was great. Don't get me wrong. I'd probably put that right there underneath the ham. One thing I liked about the ham was the fact that the pepper was so good on it.
It had a lot of flavor.
It did. And very dainty, great presentation, as you can see from the photo that I've posted there. Your Instagram does a much better job of showing off those pictures, but so good. Very yummy.
I have a little practice.
That's right. I was just your assistant. Here's a better
cucumber sandwich.
Here's a better
I thought was interesting because it had the pear with it. So it wasn't your typical cucumber sandwich. It's a little bit more unique.
You can see there the salmon, the smoked salmon there was that rye bread? Remember? It was some marbled bread.
It looks like a marbled rye, I think.
Mm-hmm. So how could you not like that? And that comes from your Instagram. You see, your Instagram photos were just wonderful. So, so good.
Then as far as the sweets, there were tea cookies, macaroons, small tarts, scones with clotted cream, and chocolate, and the little chocolate cookies.
Yep.
Which were really good.
Once again,
and one thing I should note that I did not mention is we added the champagne to it. They have Chandon champagne, and we got a glass of that, just $5 for a glass of champagne paired with that, and to make it a grand royalty. So we did that.
So good. Once again, yeah, I just love the fact that they brought 2 of everything, and whatever you didn't eat or finish, I ate.
Now, I really liked little berry tarts. I thought those were really good.
And because we couldn't get enough of the macaroons. Coincidentally, they had a macaroon bar at the Hilton next door. And
yes, and that was also part of the Food and Wine weekends, and it was taking place at the Myth Bar.
Yeah. So once again, when you told me we're going to be doing a tea time, I was like, oh, okay. So we're going to have tea and cookies. Okay. I'm down with that. The sandwiches were a surprise. I didn't do any type of research going into it, so I had no idea what to expect. I just thought we were just going to get tea and cookies, but to get the sandwiches and the variety of the cookies we got and the variety of teas that they had was just great. And it was very relaxed, as you said. I didn't ever feel that they were pushing us out one bit. I felt very relaxed, and tea time is really a time for you to catch up with your friends, to do a lot of talking, socializing, and that's exactly what we did. Not to mention the fact that we capped it off with one of these. Now, I heard so many stories because Kristen had already sampled this before, but I had not had the peacock egg. What's the official name of this drink? The Peacock Alley Peacock Egg. Lavender lemonade, and they froze the inside. As you can see, that icy outer shell is just one big old egg they put there, and it looks like a lava lamp. But I have to say, the signature drink definitely made my day. This uniqueness was a lot of fun. So now I give it a thumbs up.
There's one thing that I want to say about this particular experience is that if you've been over to the Garden View Tea Room over at Grand Floridian and you've enjoyed their service, you know that it starts at $30 and very quickly goes up from that. You know, very few people are going to go and just do the bottom level of theirs. This one only has one level, and you get all that stuff for $30, which to me is a great price. Then it's $5 to add the champagne. So, I mean, I think if you're going to go for a tea time, this is the one that I would definitely recommend trying. It's really nice. I really enjoyed it, and I have done the one at Grand Floridian. And I think when we went, wasn't as much food as this, but I want to say ours was like $40, $48, something like that.
Wow.
When we went. Yeah. And again, that's per person, but I think it's well worth it for the experience. We were there for about hour and a half, 2, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a very casual, very laid back atmosphere, and it was worth it. The food, the drink, the desserts, definitely well worth it. And I'm not a tea-time person, so you can take it from me, Mr. Manly Man, Mr. Geeky Man, that I had fun with you, celebrating with you and just having fun there. So it was worth the money, for sure.
If you're interested in this, you can make reservations, which I highly recommend making reservations ahead of time. Can be done by calling 407-597-5450. Again, the review is up on diningatdisney.com. You can just click on the Food and Wine Weekends banner on the right-hand side, and you'll be able to find the review for both the tea time as well as Taste of Bull and Bear. And there's got the information as well of how to enjoy those experiences. Again, the Royal Tea does take place on Sundays from 2 to 4. So,
you know, we talk a lot about the Disney experience, Kristen, on your podcast. We talk about how cast members are when you're going to a resort as the Waldorf, like the Waldorf. You expect nothing but the best, and that's exactly what happened. Everybody was so great. The food service, the servers, the wait staff was just absolutely amazing. And this is what you want. And this is why I feel that it was so relaxing for me being on vacation, and doing these experiences were just absolutely amazing. So once again, pat on the back to the staff and the management at the Waldorf Astoria for making sure that we had a good time. So
I would have to agree. You have anything else you want to say about our experiences, Alton?
Nope, but I will say those reviews and those pictures are great on diningatdisney.com. So definitely get some mouth-watering pictures there, and definitely will motivate you to go check out that resort and definitely book some dining there, because it is well worth it. If you're a foodie person, you definitely want to check that out. This is a not to miss experience there.
Well, I think that is all that we have for today. So, Aljon, why don't you tell everybody where they can check you out?
Awesome. Check us out at Jedi Mouseketeer, JediMouseketeer.com. We are currently celebrating 30 days of Star Wars. So we are counting down the days to Star Wars The Force Awakens. Of course, we also post a lot about the Disney parks and about Marvel as well. So you can geek out with me at JediMouseketeer.com. Of course, Kristen and I also have a sister podcast at WDW Tiki Room, a family-friendly show that airs on Sorcerer Radio at srsounds.com. Also, highlights available for WDW Tiki Room, courtesy of Weeby Geeks Network. Just like this podcast, you can find on iTunes as well as Stitcher Radio.
And you can find everything Dining at Disney at diningatdisney.com. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Periscope. On YouTube, it's The Dining at Disney. As Aljon mentioned, we are brought to you by Weeby Geeks Network. So please download and subscribe to our show on iTunes. Give us a 5-star rating. We really love that. So thanks for listening. Until next time, bon appetit.